Hey there, Startup Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Level Up during the COVID crisis. And we have really switched all of our level ups to push back anything that we were going to schedule and share with you to really focus on the topics that you guys need and we need at hand. You know, this is a very interesting time because everything seems very isomorphic, right? Like we're going through this, you're going through this, your clients are going through this. So we wanted to talk to you guys today about COVID-19, adjusting to your new norm, working from home. And before we dive in, we just want to express great appreciation and gratitude for our sponsor.
Yes, thank you so much to TherapyNotes for partnering us, supporting you guys. They are an amazing EHR platform, and it's awesome to have their support and sponsorship as we continue to be able to provide this valuable content for you guys and really trying to tailor our messages and what we talk about to topics that you're going through right now, that you're needing to hear right now as you're navigating the COVID-19 crisis. Yes, we are definitely going through that process as well ourselves. And before we get into today's topic, we definitely want to say, if you're in need of an EHR, check out TherapyNotes. They're offering your first 2 months for free with code PPS. So use the code PPS and you'll be able to take advantage of that. They're amazing.
So Kate, why don't you start, because you've had a huge adjustment from being at home and having kids.
Oh, yes. This has been a big transition. I'm someone who, I'm a planner. I like to have things like steady Eddie and to feel like I'm in control and I know what to expect.
That's because you're a high C on the disc profile.
That's just how I'm wired, right? And so obviously nothing is in my control. I know that, but everything feels really out of control, especially last week, adjusting to the social distancing. I'm on day 11 at this point, and at the point we're recording this. So at the point when you're hearing this will be many more days. It'll be a week from now. So we'll be on day 18 probably. Anyways, the adjustment process has been a big struggle because we first found out that schools were shut down, that we would be working from home. The working from home piece, that wasn't a big adjustment because I've been on maternity leave. I was just transitioning to getting ready to start working back in the group practice and then working with Katie. We've been doing a lot of our work online. We've worked together in person a couple of days, but that part isn't as big of a challenge, except for you throw a 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old into the mix, and he's constantly needing to be stimulated and wanting to have time with mommy and daddy. And I also have a 3-month-old baby. So you put those two factors in, and our house was like a circus for the first couple days because we're just all adjusting. We didn't have time to prepare, to create a new schedule. And so day one last week was insane. It was exhausting. I was trying to get work done. My Lannon's bouncing off the walls. Because he's used to going to school and being around his friends and all of this stuff. And it's kind of like, he feels like it's a vacation, like we should be doing something fun, but it's really a work day for us. So it was really hard to navigate that. And I learned very quickly that, okay, we need to sit down, we need to create a structure. So taking a step back is the first step to really look at your normal schedule outside of this COVID-19 situation where you're working from home. And if you have young kids, and your partner's also at home, or if it's just you, taking a look at the schedule for everybody involved, involving the kids in that. That was something that was really helpful, to actually sit down with my son and work on creating a schedule together and talk to him about, okay, so tell me about your day at school. What is your schedule like? And what are you doing from this time to this time? And then what are you doing after that? Okay, so you start off with circle time. What are you doing at circle time? And then you have work time, and that's your schoolwork time. And then you have playground time, and that's your playground time. So I was able to sit down with him and we created this schedule together, and that became our new norm. And that took some anxiety away from me, and I think probably from him as well, knowing that, okay, here's what the day is going to look like while we're at home. I actually have him wearing his school clothes. So on Monday through Friday, he gets up and he gets himself dressed and he puts on his school shirt and his school shorts, so he knows that it's a school day, not just, hey, we're wearing pajamas all day and it's going to be super relaxed. And so that's been helpful to do that. And I've also set up this reward system for him where I'll have to show you guys This is our cotton ball in a jar system. I've had to get really creative, you guys, because it's helpful for him to be able to see like the cotton balls throughout the day as they continue to grow when he's doing really well and he's following through with what he's supposed to be doing. And it's just like a little reward system, and it's worked really well. So when he's not listening, he gets a little cotton ball taken away, and we have a specific reward for when that piles up. So it's been really helpful to take a step back, and it took a few days for everybody to adjust to the new norm and the new schedule and what time frames are what. But after those first few days, and then with the cotton ball reward system, it's it's been working a lot better. We're finding our new groove, which is nice. Katie, before I go on to the next tip, why don't you talk about from your perspective of not having kids, and
I was
how do you
honestly just
structure?
really enjoying everything you were saying, so I'm not even like thinking anything over here. One of the things I think is important to highlight, one thing, I just want to express gratitude for you guys, because literally when we get on video, I get dressed, I put some makeup on, I make sure I shower. I'm not just in my gym clothes, and I actually have pants on, right? Like I'm not like, yoga pants down there. I always think like, being an online business owner, like that's the new mullet, right? It's like, business on the top, like gym, yoga, sleepy time on
Pajamas.
the bottom.
Yep.
So that's one thing actually I'm grateful for. Like, and I even put on shoes, you know what I mean? I'm not just in my like flip flops. So, having that expectation, like you are going to work. I mean, we work from home a lot anyways, Kate and I do love that. Obviously things are different. So stepping back and looking at, your new norm. I'm grateful that my house, I podcast and do other stuff from the guest room, the guest bedroom. Like this is not, even though it looks like a studio, it's not, right? Like if I reveal what's behind door number 1, we got some closets going on there, right? So, finding your new space, your new niche, being flexible, which I think is hard too. Sometimes I know for me, Kate talks about being very structured. I am that way as well. And interestingly enough, I had just shared on the previous level up is I had been going through some personal stuff this year already that's really had me whacked out and ungrounded. And I know for me, if I do not prioritize my own self-care, I am off. But I obviously, with everything going on, like the distractions and the information, and then hopping on, maybe check out the news really quick for the update. And self-care, I can't say it's like way, way, way important, and it being a very structured person, a very, motivated person, a disciplined person, I'm kind of going back and forth about adjusting to those new expectations and the new norm and the routine. But really like kind of sharing that like out there, like, okay, I need this time. Like I have to do this. And for me also, even though I'm giving myself a little more sleep, like I'm still getting up at the same time and getting into the practice of the self-care, because that's just so essential for me.
I just have to share a little funny story. You were talking about putting your shoes on. The first day that we were working from home, my husband comes out. He's like fully dressed, like he's going into the office. He puts his shoes on, and my son goes, "Daddy, where are you going? We can't leave the house." And he goes, "I have to have my shoes on to feel like this is my norm." He's like, I can't work without my shoes on. I got to have my shoes on. It makes me feel like I'm like going into the office and getting into the mindset. So that was funny that you mentioned you actually have your shoes on.
Yeah. So if you guys are doing odd things that you find odd, right, just to feel like this is like your norm, like do whatever you need to feel like grounded and okay, So I would love to hear in the comment section, what do you think is silly or weird that you guys are doing that just helps you feel normal, because whatever you're doing, someone else is doing it too. Or it's a really great idea for people just to do small little things just to have some semblance of the normalcy.
The next tip that we really want to share with you guys is to adjust your expectations. Have more realistic expectations of yourself and others during this time. I can remember that first day that we were at home, and even the first couple of days of adjusting to the new schedule, and the hour and a half of work time, having these expectations that I have to be teaching my son all these new things, and on top of all these other hats that I'm wearing, I have to be wearing the teacher hat, the house cleaner hat, because I'm not having a cleaning person coming into the house, or it's just I had these unrealistic expectations of myself, and no screen time until later on in the day. And I have had to take a step back, be more compassionate with myself, and to be more flexible about my expectations with my husband, my kids, because ultimately what they're going to remember about this time is how they felt. they're not going to remember like everything that mommy was teaching them during this time. And especially with my son Landon, my older son, he's going to remember how he felt during this time, and what new memories did we create, what adventures did we have, what was this time like. So I had to take a step back and get more flexible, and we were able to get ABC Mouse on the iPad, so he was able to, so during the times where I need to be working, he's still learning, he's doing educational games, but there's definitely been some more screen time. And then later in the day we have Disney Plus, and if he's had, you know, a really good day and we're working towards those cotton balls and the jar is looking full, then he gets to watch Disney Plus, and that gives me a chance to focus on my work and have the uninterrupted time while the baby's napping. So it's a lot of juggling, and normally I would be a lot more like rigid about those types of expectations. And then it's also that constant evaluating of like what's working and what's not working, and tweaking and revising and pivoting, and really working together with your partner and having more like compassionate and kind expectations of them as well, because we're all in this boat together. We're all just trying to survive. We're all adjusting to our new norm, and it's a lot. So it's really helpful to focus on that.
Yeah. And sometimes taking space might be like cleaning the garage or something like that, right? And doing what you have to do. That is definitely very important.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about expectations?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I was just kind of saying that before is like, you know, I'm very like hard on myself anyways, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. So being flexible with those expectations. And it's weird because yeah, I feel as busy, if not busier now, right? Because, you know, what drives me is serving you guys. And so that's kind of where I put my anxieties and energies. And, you know, when we show up like this, like I feel okay. You know, one of the things that I love about like therapy and working with clients is, you know, all of my own anxieties are just kind of outside the door and I get to be
Mm-hmm.
fully present. So, you know, it is that balance of the self-care, of the schedule, the adjusting expectations, working with your clients still if that's where you guys are at, and their schedules and their needs. So
Mm-hmm.
everything's kind of like up in the air. And, you know, my area is a little bit messier, and I have had to say to myself mentally, like, the work week is still the work week. And if things are in disarray, it's okay. The weekend is for personal, right? And so even though I might like hop on the computer a little bit, but like saying that the week is for personal. And this last Sunday, I just felt really like at peace. I went on a bike ride. I discovered a new little like secret passage that I didn't know existed. I also went on a walk and I worked out and laid out, right? So I'm very grateful we live in Florida. It's now the end of March and the weather's just been gorgeous. So, you know, enjoying that peacefulness of those times, like you're saying, is, you know, balancing all the anxieties and the worries and the fears, but also like getting into like being a
Mm-hmm.
human being, not a human doing, which, you know, I'm a lot of times like I'm speaking to myself right now, right?
Yes.
So, you know, being in the beingness of the world and nature is pretty grounding. So
Yeah. And then for those of you that still have an active caseload and you're showing up and you're seeing your clients, being flexible with that too, having, you know, being gentle with yourself, being gentle with them, because they might need to have shorter sessions. They might need to have their online counseling session with you from the bathroom while the kids are banging on the door. You know, you just, we are all in this together, and we're all scrambling and trying to really adjust to that new norm. So you don't have to be perfect. It's just, that's the tip number 3, is be perfectly imperfect. And it's so freeing to be able to come on here and just be real with you guys and be raw and talk about the challenges, and to not have to have it all together, because guess what, guys, I'm still figuring all my shit out. And I know, Katie, you know, we're both in that same boat. And it's nice to have a business partnership where we can both like bring different strengths and we both balance each other out. And when I'm like losing my mind, Katie's like, okay, I got this, I got this, I got us. And hopefully you guys have people in your life that can help you like that too. And um, you know, you don't have to have it all together. Do your best to be gentle with yourself and do what you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can really be there for others and continue to help yourself, your families, kids if you have them, and then your community, because everybody needs it so much right now.
yeah, cool. And then I know we kind of been like piping in the self-care in there,
Mm-hmm.
but what are you doing for self-care, Kate, these days?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm getting outside a lot, which is really, really nice. And to be able to take these walks, I'll put the baby in the stroller, and Landon comes with us, and we'll take the dog sometimes. Sometimes we won't take the dog, and we'll take a long walk every single morning. I notice on the mornings where we don't get to take a walk, the day seems a lot more challenging for everybody. And so being able to do that, Landon's been doing this kids Pilates 3 days a week, which is really cute. We get on Zoom and virtually he does these little kids Pilates moves with these other kids from the Pilates instructor. And then I do my Pilates virtually a couple times a week. And then I'll work for segments of time when I can work. And then when I'm on and have to be there with the kids, I'm just getting outside. We're playing in the pool. I'm trying to be in the moment and just have those expectations of myself that I just can only work for small bits of time at this point, and that's all I can do. And really trying to be present with my family during that family time, and then like really laser focused at work during that time. So that's been helping. And I would say sleep, but sleep has been a disaster for me, to be honest, just because I'm still up multiple times a night with the newborn. And yeah, that part is really, really hard. I look forward to the day where I can say that I'm back to sleeping, because that is a big part of my mental health and being able to cope with things.
Yeah. And you guys would never know it. Kate always puts on a good face and she can, and I love that. So, well, guys, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of Level Up. And it's really, I guess it's really leveling up during COVID-19. What is that like for you? If you guys have specific questions about COVID-19 or just building your business, because sometimes we need to get away from this talk and sometimes we need to talk about it. Look for the Ask Us post every Tuesday that comes out and post your question there. We'll definitely answer it in the post, but also possibly make it a Level Up video. So like we say from the Private Practice Startup, thanks for allowing us to inspire you from startup to mastery. And, I know we usually say for Level Up, you guys got this, but I'd rather say we're all in this together.
Yes.
Have an awesome, inspired day, everybody. Take care.